Nadine Gordimer, Life and Works and Reading Julie's People. Okay, let's make it really simple. Nadine Gordimer was a very brave and talented writer from South Africa. She wrote many stories about how unfair and wrong it was to treat people differently because of their skin color, in a system called apartheid. She believed that everyone should be treated equally and used her stories to show the world how bad things were in South Africa. Nadine was born in a place where she saw a lot of unfairness from when she was very young. Her parents came from far away and taught her about being kind and fair to everyone. Even though she got sick and had to stay at home a lot, she read many books and started writing her own stories. She loved writing so much that she never stopped, even when she grew up. She wrote a book called Julie's People, which is about a world turned upside down, where the people who were once in charge are now being looked after by those who used to work for them. This story made some people very upset, but Nadine wanted to show that being unfair to others is never right. Nadine didn't just write stories, she also stood up for what she believed in. She went to protests and helped her friends who were in trouble for fighting against apartheid. She was a good friend to Nelson Mandela, who was a very important leader in fighting against unfairness in South Africa. Nadine stayed in South Africa because she loved her country and wanted to make it a better place. So, Nadine Gordimer used her writing to tell the world about how important it is to treat everyone fairly, no matter what. She showed that words can be very powerful in fighting against wrong and making the world a kinder place. Let's begin the story of the novel. Once upon a time, there was a family called the Smails. They lived in a place where some people were treated unfairly because of the color of their skin. The Smails were white, and many people in their country were black. One day, there was a big fight in their country, and everyone was scared. The Smails didn't know what to do, so they asked their friend, July, for help. July was their servant, and he was black. July told them they should come to his village where they would be safe. The Smails were nervous because they had never been to a village before, but they had no choice. When they arrived, everything was different. The houses were made of mud, and there were lots of people everywhere. Julie's family welcomed them and helped them settle in. The Smails had to learn to do things they had never done before, like fetch water from the well and cook food on a fire. It was hard at first, but they started to get used to it. Maureen, the mother of the Smails, was worried about her children. She wanted them to be safe and happy. She tried to keep them busy by teaching them games and stories. One day, Maureen met a woman named Ellen. Ellen was also staying in the village, and she was very kind to Maureen. They became good friends and helped each other out. As time went on, the Smails started to feel like part of the village. They made friends with the other families and joined in with their celebrations. But things weren't always easy. Sometimes, there were arguments between the Smails and the villagers. They didn't always understand each other's customs and traditions. One day, Maureen and July had a big argument. They disagreed about something important, and Maureen felt sad. She didn't want to fight with July because he had been so kind to them. Eventually, things started to get better. The Smails and the villagers learned to respect each other and work together. They realized that they were all the same inside, no matter what color their skin was. Finally, the fighting in the country stopped, and it was safe for the Smails to go back home. They said goodbye to their friends in the village and thanked them for everything. As they left, Maureen felt grateful for their time in the village. She had learned so much about herself and others. And she knew that she would never forget the kindness of July and his family. And so, the Smails returned home, knowing that they would always have a special place in their hearts for Julie's People. In conclusion, Julie's People is a story about a white family who finds themselves living in a black village during a time of political turmoil. Through their experiences, they learn about friendship, kindness, and the importance of understanding and respecting others, regardless of their differences. The novel teaches us that while change can be scary and challenging, it also presents opportunities for growth and understanding. By immersing themselves in a new environment, the Smails learn to see the world from a different perspective and develop empathy for those around them. Ultimately, Julie's People reminds us of the power of human connection and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. It encourages us to embrace diversity and seek common ground with others, even in the most difficult of circumstances. As the Smails return home, they carry with them the lessons they have learned and the memories of the people who touched their lives in the village. And although their journey has come to an end, the impact of their experiences will stay with them forever.